Hello, AP students, and how you guys doing? Good to see you up here. Oh, Mr. Wood, I gotta say, you look really good today. No, you, man. No, you look good. All right. We both look good. All right, so let's get to our vocab words and I'll explain to you how this works. So, first off, we have 5 basic themes of geography, which are up here: environment, culture, state building, economics, and social structure. At the end of next week, we are going to have a vocab test on the 10th, on Friday. And this will be covering the first 3 chapters that we study. All of these words could be on the test. I am going to randomly pick 5 of them, and you don't know which one I'm going to pick. One from environment, one from culture, one from state building, one from economics, one from social structure. So, what do you need to do in this test? You will need to write the definition of the word. Give a specific definition with as much world history details as you can for 2 points. And then you will need to say which theme it fits under. So for overgrazing, for example, you'll need a definition and a theme. Let's take a closer look. Oh, how you doing? All right, let's take a closer look at how you will do this. You're going to use note cards or just scraps of paper. I'm going to have some note cards. Should have them out there. You can cut them up, make them about that size. Wrong one. This size right here. This is just a piece of paper, literally, that I cut. So you'll have note cards cut down to about this size, and on one side you will put the word. On the other side you will put the definition. And you can see there I purposely made a mistake and crossed it out just to show you that that's okay. Yeah, I purposely made that mistake. All right. Anyway, so let's take a look at this and a definition. So we have overgrazing. And actually, why don't you take out one of these note cards and write overgrazing on one of them right now. Go ahead and do that. Mr. Wood can pause the video. All right. Now you have overgrazing written down. Write down a definition. And I'll give you a definition. This is pretty much from the book. The continual eating of grasses and not letting it regrow by pastoral animals. Okay? So, the continual eating of grasses and not letting it regrow by pastoral animals. And, as remember, this goes under environment. So, what I'll do is something real simple on my note card, is that I wrote the word environment there, and I circled it. Okay? So, this is one of my words right there, overgrazing, and environment right there. So I have the word, definition, and what theme it fits under. And this will be worth 3 points if I picked this word. And you would have to put which word it is and which theme of geography that it fits under. All right? If you can do that, you will get 3 points. And we will pick 5 of them for our quiz that we will have on Friday for vocab. And that will be worth a standard. So make sure you get that done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the words and the definitions. And you'll be able to write the word down on one side of your note card like we did here, and the definition with the theme on the other. And keep these note cards with you because they're going to be worth points on your test. In fact, here's what I'll do. If you have all these note cards done for chapters 1, 2, and 3 and you bring them in on Friday for the test, that's going to be worth 5 points right there. So basically your 4.0 option is going to be to have all these note cards prepared. We'll make it a nice simple one to make sure you're studying right. So let's take a look at some of our words, and I'm going to give you some definitions and the themes you can see already. So for environment, we're looking at how have humans changed the environment around them, or how has the environment changed humans. So our word for environment is overgrazing. And I already gave you that definition, and here we can see some animals over there when we're talking about our definition of the continual eating of grasses and not letting it regrow by pastoral animals. These animals move from place to place, eating, and not letting the grass grow damages the environment. Okay? And that is an environmental word. Let's get to our next one. And this one is artifacts. So let's go look up artifacts real quick here. So artifacts that I'm looking right here. Oh, I'm going to cover up that one because we're not talking dinosaurs. So artifacts that we're looking at here are basically objects that were created by people that historians can now study. So an artifact is an object created by people that historians can study. And now we're putting this one under culture. Okay? Culture talks about belief systems, religion, literature, philosophical beliefs, how they change the culture of people. And a lot of these artifacts have art on them, which is part of culture. Some of them tell stories about the gods, which is part of culture. So again, artifacts, definition, they are basically objects made by people, which historians can study, and it would fit under culture. So our next word after that is Paleolithic Era. And again, I'm just giving you some Google images of it, and let's go look that up. So Paleolithic Era is also called the Old Stone Age. The Old Stone Age. This was the first time that human beings had ever made tools out of stone. This allowed them to hunt. This allowed them to kill animals and to become, basically dominant because they were making tools and other animals were not. It's a huge development in humanity, which makes us different than other animals out there. So Paleolithic is Old Stone Age, and humans, when we were doing this, we weren't farming yet. We were hunting and we were gathering. So in the Paleolithic Era, not farming yet, hunting and gathering. And this, of course, would fit under culture. Our next word is Neolithic Era. So Neolithic, very similar to Paleolithic. However, Neolithic has to do with farming. We're still using tools, but now we're planting seeds in the ground. Now we have animals like cattle. So Neolithic is when we first start farming and we start building villages, towns, civilizations. Neolithic, when we first start farming, we start living in one place. And the culture greatly shifts. We start developing different cultures in different villages, towns, cities, different gods, different languages. And this is how culture develops. That's why it goes under culture. Our next word is going to go under state building, and we have Jericho and Çatalhöyük. So let's go look those up. Google Images is pretty good. If you ever don't know what words mean, by the way, in any class, I like to go to Google Images because I can see things about it, and it kind of helps me out. So if we look at this, this is a nice picture right there, right above me. I see you. Okay. So, so Çatalhöyük and Jericho were early Neolithic civilizations where people first started farming and lived in one place. Are they the earliest? Don't quite know, but they're very, very, very early. Some of the earliest that we have ever seen as historians. They're located in what we would call the Middle East today, Jericho near Palestine or Israel, and Çatalhöyük located in Anatolia or Turkey. And we can see that these were basic villages where they stored food and where people lived around 7,000 BCE, 9,000 years ago. Good looking Mr. Wood over there. We'll explain to you what BCE means a little bit later. All right? And yeah, Mr. Wood. Look good today. All right. Let's keep going. All right. Our next words are going to go under the field of economics. Now, so let me get back to state building. I kind of missed that. State building is different government states, how they begin, how they make borders, how they've fallen. Governments, states, civilizations, how they're built and how they fall. That's state building. Economics is all about this thing called resources. Those are goods you can use, like food, things that you can sell and buy. It's also about labor or work, and trade is very, very big in economics, trading goods back and forth. Business today, we think of that. Back in this time period, it's mostly trading goods. So let's look at our first word, which is specialization of labor under economics. And let's look that up. What does that look like? Oh, this is kind of nice. So specialization of labor means different people doing different jobs. Different people doing different jobs. And if we look at specialization around this time period, what we can see is that we have some slaves in the bottom who were forced to do the farm labor, free farmers, craftsmen who built things like the artifacts we talked about, scribes, soldiers, and these are just different jobs. So if you're wondering, Mr. Woodstop, I got to write a definition down. Specialization of labor just means different people doing different jobs. Jobs where they develop a skill in one area. Like today, I have a specialization of being a world history teacher. Now, I could be a male model if I wanted to be. Oh, yeah. But I've decided instead to be my specialization to be world history. Okay? Cristiano Ronaldo, specialization, he's a soccer player. Okay? Soccer player who scores a lot of goals, especially against Spain. That was pretty impressive. Okay, you can see when I made this. So, specialization means different people having different jobs. Let's look at our next word. Get out of the way. Oh, there we go. Okay. Is domestication. By the way, since you're watching this, you can pause at any moment that you need to. All right. So, what was our next word again? Oh, yeah. Domestication. So, what does domestication mean? Domestication is when you take something that is wild, start over, a plant or an animal that is wild and humans control it. They domesticate it. So they take wild animals, like wolves, and by breeding them, make them into all the different kind of dogs that are out there. Here we see domestication of a horse, from wild to tame. This also works with plants. So plants can also be made from wild to tame as we start growing them like wheat or corn. So domestication means you take an animal or a plant that's wild and you put it under human control. And that is domestication. Which again, about resources, food and animals, so it goes under economics. Let's look up this word surplus and see what it means. So surplus, and let's look at it in the Neolithic Revolution. So basically, if we look at surplus, it means an increase in food production. That means you have more food than you need. An increase of food, you have more food than you need. That means you have plenty to survive and you can put some food away. And not everybody has to farm. So people can do other jobs. Surplus, having more food than you can need. People can live in one place. People can do different kinds of jobs. And this happens during the Neolithic Revolution. There is a surplus or more food than people need. All right. Our next word is going to be Nomadic Pastoralism. Okay? So let's get that one over here, and let's look at Nomadic Pastoralism. This basically means that people have domesticated animals. So they've made animals now that are tame, and they are traveling with them from place to place. Nomadic means that you travel from place to place. Pastoralism means you're taking the animals with you on the road. So, it's not a hunter-gatherer. You're not just, moving from place to place to place hunting food. But it's also not farming because you're not staying in one area. So this is nomadic pastoralism, moving from place to place with domesticated animals. Cattle, goats, pigs, all that works. Let's, on our next video, we're going to get the social structure, and I'll go over that one, and it's going to be linked on the website as well. And we'll get the social structure with that one.